The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
The aftermath of every social revolution brings about change. Cultural norms and landmarks shift as our minds and hearts expand beyond the familiar. To everything, there is a season and a time to every purpose in the land of the living. This is our time to renew, revive, and restore the hope lost to the busyness of life. This is our time to dig again and rebuild from the storms of our past on a solid footing that holds. Welcome to The Foundation.
The Foundation.
The Foundation is brought to you by Alive, Bonneville Bones, Burger King, Commonwealth Bank, ESC Distributors Limited, Grand Bahama News, Popeyes, Printmasters, and Bronze Electric Motors.
Foundation. The Foundation. The Foundation. Foundation. The Foundation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant and your company, The Foundation. It is a beautiful day, the beginning of a beautiful... It's beginning to look a lot... Oh, I don't know. It is exciting times, guys. I'm happy to be here with you, happy to kind of chop this thing down. It is a beautiful day and the beginning of a beautiful series. Before we actually kind of dive into those things, I got to be able to shout out my good, decent people over at AFS Insurance Agents and Brokers. They got everything laid out for you. Make sure you go and check them out. They are located number 407 Blue Hill Road South. So you can go check them out. Give them a call at 341-1AFS if you're in the market for your insurance. If you're looking for something personal, something residential, something, very close to your heart and near and dear, you want to be able to ensure that you can secure these things, do that. Give them a call at 341-1AFS. Or if you're looking for something commercial, something bigger, something expansive that you want to be able to get those things taken care of, you can do that also. Also, they have in-house financing. If you're looking for something that you want to kind of take care of as it relates to your bunch of plates that you got and you're trying to insure those things, give them a call. 341-1AFS. They're located number 407 Blue Hill Road South. Number 407 Blue Hill Road South. They can take very good care of you in those particular areas. Guys, it is a glorious day, and I'm grateful to be in the land of the living. I don't know about you, but we got through this September where I don't think we pass one September without some level of calamity. Is it just me? Is it just me through observation, or is it because I'm looking at Carolinas? I'm looking at the Carolinas. I'm looking at everywhere that Hurricane Helene has passed. I'm looking at even in the aftermath of the hurricane passing, how there's tribulations, roads are falling down, bridges, dams are getting broken. So much things are happening. And I feel like September is kind of reserved for that. It's this crazy thing. So let's join in conversation today, guys. I want you to be able to join me in conversation and chop the thing down today. Make sure you pick up your Guardian newspaper. Slowed economic growth predicted, but outlook remains stable in the new S&P report. A credit rating agency, Standard & Poor's, said in the newly released report it expects the Bahamian economy to slow at 1.8% in 2004, then return to trend growth. Right? The S&P pointed to the country's below average long-term growth performance compared with that of others at a similar level of development. A slowed growth is expected over the next 1 to 2 years. This is what the S&P said. And what they give is the S&P says, as it affirmed the country's B+ long-term ratings and kept the economic outlook stable. Right? So check out the newspaper, find out more information about that story as we continue to dive into that. The Prime Minister criticized the countries for finding eye-watering sums of bombs and not climate action. Let me tell you something. Oh, gee, anyway, let's be decent. This is first thing in the morning. Well, actually, it's 12 o'clock. Hey, we could be a little bit indecent. Somebody drinking somewhere. Let's be decent, right? There's a opposition finds S&P report very concerning and the man murdered on Saturday. There's all the information's in the paper. 3 arrested for human smuggling. This is something that seems to be on the uptick and uptrending here in the country. A lot of persons are in the... That's something we've always dealt with some level of smuggling. As a nation, as a people. If we go back to bootlegging, if we go back to that time where, United States of America weren't allowed to be able to consume alcohol during this particular time, and how our responsibilities for the development of the bootlegging industry, how that happened. Even prior to that, how we were, sort of a hub for pirates. And then as we transition, it moved from liquor to narcotics to drugs. And now it moving from that to human beings. This is bananas. Isn't it crazy that we've been a hub for pirates on every level? Even from an internal standpoint, a lot of persons will be able to indicate that their politicians is some level of pirate in one way or another. This is just what people say. I just want to be decent. Let's dive into this conversation and being able to chop it down today. The line's going to be wide open, guys, in preparation for our series that's going to be starting tomorrow, October 1st. October 1st, guys, it's September 30th. If you're celebrating a birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you if you're celebrating a birthday. But tomorrow, October 1st to November 1st, we're going to be chopping down the constituencies. Tomorrow, we're going to have first at the gate is going to be Mount Moriah and Southern Shores. I have a tentative agreement with both the gentlemen, Mikhail Barnaby and Leroy Major, in those particular capacities instead. That I'd love them to sit with me. I've already extended that invitation. We've spoken, and I'm hoping that these guys take the opportunity and take the time to sit with me. I'd like to do that. I'd like to be able to do that and sit with them. I think that I've heard a great deal of things about Mount Moriah and how he's been doing well in that particular constituencies. I also heard a lot about Southern Shore, so I'd love to be able to have those kind of conversations with them and to find out where we are, what the intent is over the next 2 years, and what we can expect from them in their various capacities and constituencies to do that. So tomorrow we'll be able to do that. Now, before we dive deeper into anything, I have not gotten a lot of persons in Mount Moriah. I have a few persons in Southern Shores, but I have not gotten a lot of persons in Mount Moriah to take the poll. We talked about this. I need you to go and take the poll for me. If you're listening to me, if you're from Mount Moriah and you're in that particular constituency and you have something that you'd like to be able to kind of put out there to find out whether or not you've seen your member of parliament, whether or not he has been committed to the things that he said, whether or not he's proactive in those areas, please hit him up. Hit up the poll and see exactly what's what. The poll is the Foundation 242. That's very easy to remember. Thefoundation242.com. Go right into Google. The Foundation 242, all one word, 242, the numbers 242, right? The Foundation242.com, very easy. Tap on that thing that says take the poll, boom, it'll take you into these questions. It's about 9 questions, nothing heavy, right? Just are you registered? Have you registered before? Do you intend to vote in the next go round? Have you seen your MP? Has your MP, do they have a ministerial title? Do you think that they've been good in these particular areas? Boom, 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 bam, and you out of there. That's it. So it ain't hard to do, but I've had a tremendous amount of people from Yamacraw hit me up. A tremendous amount of people from Yamacraw has reached out to the poll and been able to do that. Right now, leading in that poll in terms of progressiveness, in terms of commitment, in terms of sort of an idea for things to happen is Zane Lightbourne. Right now, today, Zane Lightbourne and his constituency shows to be the most progressive constituency, and that his commitment is strong and he's being able to do a great deal. Now, I checked the poll Saturday night late. Yesterday, the poll was up to 500 and some. Remember, we said that we wanted to get about 1,000. I only reached half there so far, so we're going to leave the poll up. Not going to take it down, but I want you guys to be able to support. If you're a member of parliament, if you see him or her, if you listen, I don't have none of your information. I don't know where you live. I ain't taking your code. I ain't trying to do the WhatsApp hack thing. That is not what I'm into. I ain't into none of those things. We have structured this and formalized this for you to be able to take that poll, to identify that, to answer those questions, and I don't get in your business. The last thing that you will see, thank you for taking the poll. That's it. If you want to go add yourself to the WhatsApp list, that's a whole different layout. But you can do that. If you want to do that, you can do that. But our focus is to ensure that we can get your information as to whether or not your member of parliament has been performing in those areas. First out the gate, I do not have much people saying anything to me about Mount Moriah. So if you say nothing, then you get what you're looking for. Amen. If you say nothing, when he comes here, when he calls in with me, and he has this kind of a conversation about what he's done, I don't want to hear your lip. Amen. I can't even get no amen. Jesus, I just want to be decent. I don't want to hear you because this don't take you 2 seconds. Go to Google right now. You could go to Google right now, type it in your Google, identify those things, and boom, you can take the poll right away. You can take the poll right away. That ain't nothing to talk about. Go right to Google, thefoundation242.com. Identify that, click on that, dive into that, answer those very, very quick. Most of those questions are just yes or no. Okay? We ask you your age demographic. I need to know. The most progressive age demographics are between 35 and 46 and 18 and 25. These are the participants. These are the participants right now. The youngest people and those persons that are transitioning into, middle life. They're getting a little older. They have answered it. They've been a participant. They've been in it. They've done these particular things. Where are you? And I can be honest with you. I have not taken this kind of a time to be able to block your IP address. I didn't do that. I don't have the time for all of that. If you want to take the poll 17 times, okay. All these things I got to pay for. Amen. And this is just something I'm hoping and I'm leaning on your honesty to be able to tell me, Howard, this is what it is, and this is where we are from this particular position. All right. So guys, go and check the poll, thefoundation242.com, thefoundation242.com, for you could be able to find out more information. Tomorrow, right off the bat, first people who we got signed up, eager and ready to go is Mount Moriah and Southern Shores. Tell me all about Mount Moriah and Southern Shores. Please do. Let me know where we are. Let me know whether or not they're doing what they're supposed to do. Let me know all these particular things, and we could be able to do that. I'm excited about this poll, guys. I'm excited about this kind of a series. I got some calls, right? I got some calls, and they've indicated to me from the calls that, boy, Howard, you're ruffling some feathers, but you don't even know what the questions is. You don't know how we can take this thing. Boy, Howard, I don't know if they can everywhere. Howard, I'm interested. And I went to church yesterday, and I had a couple people from my church tell me, Howard, I'm interested in this, man. I'm really looking forward to your series that's going to be beginning on Tuesday. I said, man, thank you so much. We're looking forward to that. And other persons are telling me about it. Howard, we're looking forward to the series, but these politicians, they ain't like that. They don't want nobody talking about them. Well, that's up to them. I mean, I'm not here to fight you. That's up to them. If you can't take constructive criticisms and understanding that you're looking a man face to face and I'm gathering information for you, if you can't have an appreciation for what I'm doing for you, because this ain't my business. I could do this for me and beat any one of y'all. Come on, this is all this is. All this is data, information, understanding how to be able to craft my language, my approach, to be able to approach these things, concentrate my effort in any one of these particular constituencies, hit the constituencies, get all that information, boom, 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 craft my campaign approach based upon the information I received and execute it accordingly. That's the new age that we're living in. That's the new era that we're living in. You're not going to go with Miss Bueller, them, Jesus, there's F&M. You don't have to do that no more. There are children that live in these homes that have nothing to say to nobody about their position. We've gathered all the information as it relates to how many persons have voted from 2002 to 2021. We saw a significant decrease in those numbers steadily over the years. And we realized the participation is extremely low, especially in 2021. Especially in 2021, when we've identified that there are even more people going out to get registered to vote. I don't know whether or not this is a quiet protest, but there are more persons getting registered to vote as opposed to persons showing up to the poll. This is crazy. Too many people are not showing up to the poll to actually vote. And I don't know whether or not this is the lack of enthusiasm, this sort of an idea that let them do what they want to do, but the coming of age and to be counted and identified, to be able to get yourself an ID, a little purple card to say that you're a Bahamian citizen and you could be able to have the right to vote, to do those things and still not show up to the poll is crazy. And the same thing happened in the by-election. That they went out, you thought it was going to get all the sympathy votes in the world for Obie Wilchcombe. We thought it was going to be a fight tooth and nail as it relates to Kingsley Smith and what was happening with Ricardo Grant in those particular areas. You saw Lincoln Bain show up. There was a great expectation. Lincoln Bain got 300 votes. Ricardo Grant got, was it 1,800 and some? Nothing to talk about. And boom, Kingsley walks away with a victory. And so many people didn't show up to vote. What is happening out here in the Bahama land, ladies and gentlemen? Why don't you want to participate in your democracy? Why? Are you so disenchanted? Are you so disenfranchised that you don't want nothing to do with none of these fellas? When you put it on cruise control, anybody could take the wheel and say they're leading. But they lead with no pushback. They lead with no feet to the fire. They lead with no progression, no growth. They just sit in this particular capacity on cruise control for 5 years. And at the end of their term of 5 years, that's the only time that they're introduced to some sort of tumultuous, the turbulence associated with it. Oh, I didn't know y'all didn't like me. Y'all ain't never say nothing. Y'all ain't never say nothing to me, man. I was coming up here all this time. Don't do that, man. Let's be decent. You don't have to look the people in their face and say you have a problem. There are mechanisms so we can understand how we could craft our narrative to make sure that what we're doing meets you right where you are. That's media. What we're doing and being able to bring you this information with transparency meets you right where you are. And we're hoping that from a political standpoint, they understand exactly what's happening and they follow suit. If they don't, then, dog eat your lunch. I'm not going to fight you. But ladies and gentlemen, we need you to participate. I need you to participate. I'm doing this straight for the desire to be able to see the country move in the right direction. I'm doing this so no one's blindsided. I had an opportunity to be able to talk to some politicians, right? Leading up to the last general election, right? And I'm sure we talked about this. I saw Travis, and Travis and I, when he had a good conversation with me when he was here, after he'd done his, his flight school, and being able to get himself certified and qualified for that as a pilot. Right? Congratulations to Travis again. He sat here with me, and I recall seeing him the night before the election in 2021. I saw him. I saw I went out to the F&M headquarters. I went to the F&M rally, right? Now, y'all, I was in F&M paraphernalia. I tell you, I left these things a long time. But I had interviewed a great deal of them. If you remember, I interviewed them with Patio Politics. You remember Patio Politics, right? So I interviewed a great deal of them on Patio Politics, right? And so we had some pending, they got this, I had to settle up. And I couldn't, oh Jesus, I couldn't wait to come get my money after they lose. I just want to be decent. I say, let me go get my money tonight. I've been waiting on my money for some of them from 2 weeks. They didn't pay me yet. You understand? We then had the interview. We then do all these things. We set up the place very nice. We did all these things. And now it's time for me to be able to have a conversation with you about my money. And you ain't paid me yet. Howard, you shouldn't do the recording, but no. Let's be decent. Let's be decent. I trust these men. You may not trust them, but I trust them. And they trust me to be decent about their names and not saying that this one is a thief or that one is a thief, right? So the night before the general election, I went out to in the back of Customs right here on University Drive, in that ground right there. And I was asking, I said, hey, listen, I came to get my money. I bumped into Travis. I said, Travis, what's happening with you? He said, everything good, Howard. I'm excited. Tomorrow we're going to win. So I said, Travis, you sure? He says, yes. I said, Travis, that's not the information that I received from being in Grand Town. He said, Howard, people that say anything, man. You know, man, they didn't tell me they got me. I said, well, they may say anything to you also. He said, Howard, we're going to win this. Travis did not win. I can tell you that at least 7 times, 7 to 10 times, I've spoken with politicians up to the night of the election, including Dwayne Sands. And they said, we're going to win. And they didn't win. You understand? So I just want to be decent with you as I say this to you. This affords you a prerequisite and an understanding of how to be able to fix your game in preparation to move towards the general election come 2025, 2026, whenever they decide to call it a thing. All this is decency, and all this is accountability. This is reciprocity that we've been looking for. Join in the conversation, guys. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Anywhere from the family of islands, 242-300-5720. Hit me up, 422-4796. Quick commercial break. Going to be right back after this.
The foundation.
The Foundation with Howard Grant. We'll be back right after this.
The foundation. The foundation.
Do you have uncontrollable debt? Are you ready to make that move to Fidelity for a stress-free future? These loans have a built-in savings plan that pays you unbeatable interest. Ask about our debt consolidation loans today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Bahamas, are you ready? Keep the vibe alive. Music Group, along with Alpha Sounds, present the best of the best. Rake and Scrape Explosion Reloaded. This is the biggest one-day all-Bahamian concert of the year. Featuring KB, D-Mac, Abby, Mama D, Fan Shaw, Shine 242, The Falcons, and more. Mark your calendars. It's going down November the 2nd at Super Club Races Ground. Tickets now available at BahamasEtickets.com or both Beauty Shack locations. General admission $60. VIP, Skybox, and Skypods also available. For more info, call 394-0819 or email keepthevibealive242@gmail.com. Experience the magic once again with more legends for one night only. Come party with us November 2nd at Best of the Best. Rake and Scrape Explosion Reloaded.
Rescue me, rescue. Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant in your company, the foundation. All we're doing today is kind of setting you up of what the expectations are for the rest of this week. That's all. All we're doing today is really talking to you about who we have lined up, what we're going to be talking about, how we're going to be able to approach these things, whether or not it's going to be, and I think that's one of the concerns. Everybody wants to know, Howard, we can be decent or we come to kill these people. No, that's not how I do work. That is not how I just do my work. I don't kill nobody. I just put the question in the front of you and you decide whether or not this is your kind of appetite. That's it. I am a decent fella. And I'd leave the audience an opportunity to be able to make a determination whether or not this fella is being honest, whether or not they're being true in these particular steadfast. And the lines are open for you to call into me and say, Howard, this is our position. This is how we feel about this particular thing. And that's why I did this. So before they get here, before they yuck up your vexation when they say the wrong thing and you know they ain't called you back and you've been sitting in their office for the past 3 months and they ducking around the back door to get inside, so forth and so on, and you out there sitting down sleeping and you've been going through all these things and not one of them could just be honest with you and say, hey, listen, Bala, I can't help you with this, eh? I could send you to someone who could possibly, you've gone through all these things and maybe that happened 10 times. Maybe it happened 100 times in the constituency. But to call the radio station with that pent-up anger may not necessarily be the best representation, not for you and not for the kind of decorum that we once set here. I just want to be decent as I say that. However, you have an opportunity to go to the website now, thefoundation242.com. And if you say no, then no is what it is. Amen. And I will present this information to the Member of Parliament. Like I said to you, I do not have enough people that have said anything to me about Southern Shores and that have not said anything to me about Mount Moriah. I do not have enough people. And so this is a great opportunity for you to go and do that. Every day I can see the polls climbing. I just sent out the stuff. I sent out some more stuff. And I put it up on my Facebook page. I put it up everywhere. And I want you guys to participate. Just click on it. The Foundation 242, click on it. You can see all the persons who are actually set up to come sit with me this week. First out the gate, we're going to have Michael Barnaby. He's all the way from Southern Shores. He's been in politics for, a very short time. And Marvin Dames, I smiled when I think about it. Marvin Dames had me, very good friend of mine, and he had me to come down to Southern Shores at his headquarters. We did an interview out right under the tree right there. What's that boulevard? That's Christie? No, what's that boulevard called? I can't remember. It's right there. And we sat under there. And Marvin says, man, Howard, man, we can win this. I said, you sure you got it? He said, yeah, man, Howard, we can win this. And if I'm going to be honest with you, based upon the conversations that we were having, and maybe it could have been the people that we were speaking to, but I tried to do a little, independent probe and go and have conversations with people very quietly and move throughout various constituencies and have conversations with people. And a lot of persons were satisfied with, Marvin Dames' approach and his constituency and what he was doing in the constituency. And for me, as I assessed this, I said, I don't know how this is going to go. Now, I know the rhythm of how things move from FNM to PLP, but I didn't know whether or not Marvin would have been able to retain this. And I said, if I'm going to be honest with you, I know that he had some issues as it relates to social and political perception of what was happening with he and Dr. Sands, and being able to represent or speak in that case, and being able to see those things and identify those cases. And I didn't know whether or not that played against him. So I asked about it. God, I just can be honest with you. I asked about it. I went to the constituents. I went to those particular persons and I asked about it. Hey, listen, is this going to be able to look bad on his reputation? Is this going to look bad on the docket as you go forward to be able to vote for him? Well, Howard, we understand. And they voted against him. Took him out. Bam, gone. Gone. You hear me? And we look at that and we realize that this is the classic David and Goliath. This is the classic, because who Marvin Dames is in society, what he's done, his commitment from a governmental standpoint, everyone knows him. And he still suffered a defeat in that particular manner. It says one or two things. That either the constituency is one of those volatile constituencies where their commitment and 100% satisfaction, if you don't provide them that, they're going against you. Or maybe this is a constituency that shifts with every election. There are some constituencies that do that. No matter how good you are, there's some constituencies that do that. We thought that Melanie Griffith was good. You remember this? Remember Melanie in Yamacraw? We thought that she was good. And Ellsworth took her out. Boom. We thought that Ellsworth was good. You remember Ellsworth? He was committed in those particular areas. And Zane Lightburn came and took him out. Boom. It was like, what? We can't predict any of these things. Only thing that's predictable is that your constituency will shift. That's the predictable thing. We predicted that St. Barnabas would shift in the second go-round, and they stayed with Shenandoah. I wonder whether or not these predictions will go off the rail again. These assessments based upon culture, based upon how we view these particular things, based upon what we're hearing on the ground, based upon the fear of non-productivity. Remember because the index of fear of crime, and so there's also an index for fear of non-productive. I'm scared that this guy ain't gonna do what he say he can do. Whether or not that is so high that people decide not to be able to go with you. I'm looking at that and looking at all these things. We're trying to make a determination of who is going to stay in there. Now, I want to be honest with you. At the end of this, what I would like to do is identify some men and women that I believe will do well as member of parliament, whether that's a second time or whether that's for the first time, based upon who is committing themselves to these various constituencies. I want to be honest with you. There are some constituencies, now you won't know this until after I'm done with this series, but there are some constituencies that I don't think has a chance. I'm not going to go into that first. There are some constituencies that I believe has a chance to be able to return in that particular capacity. You saw me started to call those names. And most of these names are bigwigs. Most of these persons are bigwigs, and they've committed themselves to this already, and you've already heard them, and you and I probably have the same assessment about these things. So we started to call those names. But at the end of the series, I want to be able to lay out who I believe. And if I'm going to be honest with you, we started to call those names this weekend. Me and my very good friend. I'm not going to call his name. We started to call those names this weekend. And so far, two of my friends, and so far, two separate conversations, we came up with the exact same number, 21. 19 to 21. Seats secured. We came up with that. And if we came up with that, Bala, y'all got to get to work. All this conversation is for you to understand that your political organization can't win for you. And I want to say this to you again. The reason why Shannon Cartwright has been able to climb within the Free National Movement and do what he's done, the reason why Shannon Cartwright has been able to do what he's done within the sphere of the Free National Movement is because he won his seat. Y'all keep trying to figure out, well, how does one get here? Because they won their seat. Chester Cooper won his seat. You hear me? You got to get in the game before you start to call. You can't call no shots. You got to get in the game. You can't call from the sidelines. You become an observer like everyone else. All of us are enthusiastic observers. That's all we are. Until and unless we are in the game. Now, you could be able to you find yourself at the game and find yourself as a player, but all you are is a glorified water boy in preparation to get an opportunity to put on the uniform. Now, whilst you have on your uniform, ladies and gentlemen, in your constituency, if you don't work, you are gone. And the Bahamian people are unforgiving and unrelentless. They will look you in your face and eat your hot dog and hamburger, take your bag and your little ruler and geometry set and do all these things and vote against you. All your wife money you then spend in this constituency. All your children braces money you then spend because you feel like you got another chance in there. These people will vote you out. So before you tap into this mortgage and go get this second loan because your political organization says to you that they can be able to give you some money, but if you could start it off, you will never see that money again. I know many politicians have done stupider things. Amen? Let's have a very clear conversation. You may still have a fighting chance leading up to 2026. Some of you should bow out gracefully. I don't want to call no names, not yet. Let's be decent. Some of you should bow out gracefully. Just want to be decent. And some of you should get yourselves prepared for leadership. We're going to identify these things and be able to move forward. That quick commercial break. Be right back after this.
Foundation.
The Foundation will be back right after this.
The foundation.
You try to rest, but roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers, for window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
The Whopper with cheese at Burger King Nassau has never tasted so good. It's made with 100% flame grilled beef that's juicier, topped with fresh ingredients as usual, and even fluffier buns. Get a regular Whopper with cheese combo for only $9, including VAT, and enjoy a Whopper that's bigger, better, and tastier. The only place to get your Whopper with cheese combo is at Burger King Nassau, where it's grill time anytime.
When you jump in your Japanese import and you turn the radio on, all you hear is... For the month of September, the Hit Spot will install a band extender in your Japanese import for the discounted rate of only $79.99, VAT included. Get your band expander installed today at the Hit Spot and listen to
Star 106.5.
Plus, get fresh news and smart talk on
Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas. This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a call, 323-623-2325, 4316, 325-4259, anywhere from the family of islands, 242-300, 5720. Hit me up, 422-4796, 422-4796, okay? Telephone call on the line, go ahead.
Howard Grant.
Hey, how you doing, my brother? What's happening?
Listen to me. Give me about 3 minutes, please. I ain't gonna go longer than 3 to 5.
I can fight you.
But listen to me. This Davis administration that is in now, this is going to be the first party in 25 years that has been voted in 2026. Before the last one was Mr. Ingram from 2002 to 2007 that was voted in. Every other administration was voted out. Okay? Check it out. Everyone was voted out. This could be the first one.
Now you got to give me
25 years that was
you got to
voted
give me the
Voted in.
prerequisite. Why? Why you say that? Tell me why.
Because they're going to be re-elected back in.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be a big margin like a 7 to 32.
No.
We're going to be a good 15 in opposition. 16. I hear you said 19. It can't be 19 to 21 because that'll be 40. We only have 29. We only have 39 seats.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you know something.
24 seats in Nassau, 15 seats in the Family Islands.
Yeah, I'm saying it's only 39 seats.
I said this week we count. And what I identify is that there's a particular organization that we've counted over. Two of my friends that we spoke.
Okay,
one party got 21 seats. We could count.
The winning party.
The winning party got 21 seats. I didn't tell you if it's the
Okay,
PLP.
go ahead then. No, go ahead. Go ahead. I don't want to jump the gun. Go ahead.
You jumping the gun? My God. Okay, so I said over this weekend, I had two separate conversations. Okay? Let me start it off like this. I had this conversation with you all already. We start this conversation. I said for the 15 seats in the Family Islands, the F&M has at least 8 of those seats.
How many?
8.
8. Who will win 8 of the seats in the Family Island?
The Free National Movement.
Will win 8 seats in the Family Island?
Yeah, I could see it.
You can't count the 5 in Grand Bahama because they might add you the PLB in Grand Bahama again. I can be honest and right after we can talk sense.
So let's go now. Let's go.
Foolish talk.
Let's go. So
but
how much seats you see in Grand Bahama?
Seats on the Family Island you think they could win? Right now.
North
Other than Long Island.
North Abaco.
No.
Yes, they could win North Abaco.
No.
Why?
I can tell you why when you finish. Go ahead.
Okay, so North Abaco. I say North Abaco.
Mm-hmm.
It's a possibility that they could get Michael again. Possibility.
No.
And
I
North
can tell you why I said no. Go ahead.
North Eleuthera.
And where else?
And North Eleuthera.
Listen to me. If you know when the people come to cut your grass, they have to beat with some prickles.
Mm-hmm.
And the prickle will kill the grass.
Mm-hmm.
If Mr. Davis them go ahead and weed out the 8 prickles that are killing that has a chance of killing the grass, and I'm not going to say yes or no, but you call some of the names that I think would need to be weed out. Listen to me. They can't do nothing with the grass. Once they pick out the prickle of the grass will be greener than the days of old.
Now, see, you call them prickle, but these men still have an opportunity.
I say pick out the prickle. If you don't pick the prickle out and you leave the prickle in the grass, it's going to kill the grass.
For instance, I believe North Eleuthera, the PLP's North Eleuthera, if he gets to work and commits himself to these particular things, I think he could still win.
Okay.
But I'm saying to you, I'm saying to you,
he's a good gentleman.
I'm saying to you, as I look at the landscape and have a current conversation, and I see that some people get sensitive. This is a current conversation based upon what's happening right now, based upon the assessment that's happening right now.
Yes,
as we look at this is the conversation that I had with my guys.
Listen to me, Mr. Grant. Michael can be saved.
I believe he can.
You tell her how they
it
can save
ain't
it?
much people. And
you tell her they can save Michael?
Let me hear it.
You know how they used to have 2 seats up there?
Mm-hmm.
Put him back in Inaugural and Megona and put Shane Gibson in Auckland's Cricket Island and Long Key, and they win the 2 of them seats. They'll win the 2. They haven't no one see the light of day up there. The light of day. Now, if they leave it the way it is now, there'll be a problem. If they cut it how it used to be, with Gray and them, it would be a walk in the park for the PLB with the 2 seats. But if they leave it the way it is, they lose that one.
See, now hold on. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a prerequisite conversation. Don't fight me. Let's just talk. This is how we're talking. This is how we're talking. The only way that the F&M does not win that if they send an ill-prepared candidate who doesn't have the money to be able to move from island to island, even though they may have the prestige and know their last name. If they can't make moves around there, they're going to lose out the seniority and the person in MyCal. That's how the PLP can get back in there.
Listen to me. Like I said, the PLP can win if they create 2 seats up there. The PLP can win the 2.
But I don't know if that's economically feasible.
Single-handedly back with the gentleman, they can be in problem.
I don't know if that's economically feasible. The PLP have to be able to quantify why they're looking to be able to expand that. The North Bahamas.
It is the constituency itself, Mr. Grant. That is 5 islands, you know.
Yeah, but the numbers.
If you're not a candidate or man who owns a plane,
I just say that.
If you don't own a plane, it's hard to go up there with my car. Let's be honest. I went into Inagua and Maguana. It takes us about 3 hours to get up there. And the man telling us he can't come back for us till he has enough people to bring back down there. So we end up staying up there for a week. We was up there campaigning.
Jesus God, that's a
that plane don't. Them people that don't come up there for and Bahamas they don't fly up there like that. You have to have a flight in order to get a plane back up there. So imagine a man who campaigning.
I know that.
Mr. Corley can tell you about that. Mr. Corley cried about that.
I know.
Okay?
I know.
So it ain't easy up there. Now, you said something about Abaco.
North Abaco.
North Abaco and Long Island, they are almost in the same fighting zone.
Yeah, but that's only personal. We're not talking about the constituency. Personally, they are in their own fights. But however, the constituency sits where it sits. Since the former prime minister has stepped away from that particular seat, and we're supposed to dissect the prime minister's interview with Jerome Sawyer the other day, but since the former prime minister, Hubert Ingram, has stepped away from that seat, right?
Yeah, it was up and down.
And now Curry stepped in, boom. And we expected Curry to do some major things. Curry didn't do what our expectations was of him. Curry stepped back.
Even in Coca-Cola, Curry go to Curry chicken or not.
Nothing, right? So he stepped back. Nothing. So because of that, we saw him not necessarily commit himself to that, right? And what we did not see a strong candidate for the Free National Movement, okay, present themselves in that particular stead. So the PLP won it again. However, if Hubert Ingram finds himself backing with clarity, with strength, a strong, homegrown fellow or person from North Abaco, it's possible that the FNM can take that seat again.
Could I say, Mr. Grant, I know I got to get some flack for this, but I'm going to say it. We're talking sense and we're talking politics. Everybody knows I support the PLP party.
Go ahead.
If the PLP had put Donnelly Penn in there,
which they were supposed to do,
instead of him, they'd have been sitting good. Going into the 2026
yeah, but the
election,
PLP was doing what the FNM does in Central Grand Bahama. They was going after name recognition. The name recognition, Cornish is a strong name in North Abaco. And you know that. These are administrative people.
Yeah,
they've committed themselves to these things.
In North Abaco, if the PLP had run a Donnelly Penn marquee in there, they were not nothing to worry about going into 2020.
I like this conversation. Join me on the next side. Let me take this quick break, guys, and be able to get to news. I appreciate that. We're going to be right back after this.
The foundation.
The Foundation. We'll be back right after this.
The foundation.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant in your company, The Foundation, live and in full effect. just being able to chop these things down. Join me in conversation if you'd love to do so. Please do so. 323-6232, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, anywhere from the family of islands, 242-300-5720, or hit me up 422-4796. I want to hit you with a prerequisite about a couple of these things. Now, I don't know whether or not this is the culture, and I don't know whether or not if I'm supposed to kind of, follow the line of culture, follow the line of what has happened in the, within this particular industry prior. There has been this sort of abrasive approach. Oh, well, Howard, watch how you're talking with these people. Who are these people? I don't understand you. I don't understand what you're saying to me. I'm not seeking to denigrate or disassemble these persons, their character, their moral. I'm just simply talking about what they've done in the constituency. It's simple. Yeah, but how about you got children? Mother's sick. When we can grow up in this society? I don't understand. I just don't understand. I just want to be decent. Why they could do their job or lack thereof and I can't do mine? I don't understand. Why these men and women could do anything to you, shovel mess on your doorstep, then shake on your gate like Sparky say, and you acknowledge them and genuflect, but when I doing my job, my God, it's a problem for me. Oh God, Howard, you got children. Why? Why we got to go through that? There's coming a new dispensation of politicians who understand that everyone has a role to play. There's coming a new dispensation of politicians who understand that all of us have a responsibility to adhere and to serve. It's coming a new dispensation. We've already seen the introduction of that, and it's a shame to see that even younger politicians have taken on this concept and idea that exists within culture. You are not above scrutiny. You're not above assessment. You're not above these things because all of us are susceptible to it. When we step in that limelight for the 15 minutes of fame, no matter what, you have become a public target for persons to assess whether or not you're doing well or you're not. Depending on your commitment, people talk about you whether you like it or not. Every single one of these members of parliament, they didn't call me on. Every single one. Every single one of these members of parliament, people call me on. They tell me your business personally. I reject that, and I'm looking for constituency information. Every single one of you. But that ain't what I am. That's not what I do. Have we not done this long enough for you to recognize that? I ain't gonna talk about you. I ain't gonna talk about your family. I ain't gonna talk about this. I ain't gonna talk about that. I told you that I've been a big man for a long time. I really didn't understand. You don't talk about people. Because they can say you fat, Howard. You gotta stop. Don't do that. But please, rest assured. When Rowdy come, I got arsenal. I ready to go. But I decent. Other than that, I'm a decent man. On Saturday, we had an opportunity to be able to go down to Tony. At Fish Fry. I've been under the dock, right? So my wife going to get some Kong salad, and she do a Kong salad thing, and we dress alike, right? So yeah, man, I feel young. Let's put on the little pretty pants, so we dress alike, and we had a good time. We were going out, we're going to get some Kong salad. When we walk on the boardwalk, right there as you're going up to on the western side, as you're walking towards Porter's Key. I'm walking towards there. 4 fellas sitting down, 3 fellas sitting down, and a lady. So 4 of them sitting down here. And they look soaking wet under a tree. They must be cutting the grass. They soak and wet. Oh my God, they drunk under this tree. Right? So my wife whispered to me. So she said, you let's walk around. Let's walk the next week. Let's see where to walk the next week. Let's go, yeah? You worry about these people. Let's go, right? So we walk past them. So the fella, he then tear his bottle in half, right? The little water bottle. He then tear it in half. He again put something in there now, some water, right? He didn't want no water. He wants something to drink. So he make a cup out of it, right? And I watch it and I pass it and I say nothing to these people. So the fella say, good afternoon, sir. You can't give me something to get something to eat, eh? So I looking at him and I thinking to myself, you don't want no food. You want something to drink. I am not to waste my money and my time giving you nothing. So I ain't say nothing. I just shake my head and say, no, I ain't got it. And I keep walking, right? So as I get past him, my wife maybe 5 steps behind me. I say, watch this man say something to me. So I get past him 5 steps to man and say, ha! My God, he was the biggest man I see in a long time. I said, sir, you out here looking for man? You looking for boyfriend or something? Would you? Man, his friends laugh at him so much, they wet up. They laugh and he laugh and say, oh, Jesus, that's a good one. There's a good one. I only say that to tell you, I got in my arsenal to deal with you also. But I'm decent. I am decent. I went to government school and I know about living in 8 Mile Rock, and I ain't the one who's living in a house. I am decent. I live among you. But I also know what is required for this country. I don't have the time to talk about you. I don't have the time. I didn't do all this to sit down here and talk about 39 men and women. I don't, listen to me, like Rodney Bonker. I don't like man. I just want to be decent. I like Rodney Bonker right now. I don't have the time to do that. I got children. I can go play with them. I don't have the time to do that. What I want to do is assess whether or not the country is on the right path, whether or not your constituency is moving ahead. We are dissecting leadership, and I want participation from the community. Let's do that. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Anywhere for the family of islands, 242-300, 5720. Hit me up, 422-4796. Call on the line. Go ahead.
Let's do this, Howard. Good afternoon. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Anton? What's happening with you?
Right on, man. How you doing, Howard?
I good, man. I live in giving God praise.
What'd you tell the fella, Howard?
The fella look at me, man, you was the biggest man I seen in a long time. So you out here looking for man? You out here looking for boyfriend? What is man, them other trees said they went and they laying on the ground laughing at him. What you looking for?
Hey, must be doing just trying to make a flight to New York.
I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Anyway, look here, Howard. Look, I listened to your conversation with your last caller. Howard.
You realize that 11 seats gone? If I say 21. Oh God, I didn't tell you who it is. But anyway, let's just
is that the bus route 21?
Yes. If I say I see 21, that's what I say I see.
Like Howard, look, this election is gonna come down to what have you done for me lately. Okay? The PLP members of parliament, he ain't going out there looking in behemoth faces this time around on air with promises, with promises of splendor. That ain't gonna work this time around. That could work the first time around, but now that you're in the chair, you have to run on your what, Howard?
Record.
On your record. Splitting of hairs, as the caller would have suggested, down there in Michael, that has many considerations, positive and negative. In particular, where the government is talking about austerity measures and trying to balance the budget and all these kinds of things, that would go completely against what the government has been promoting.
Yes.
Completely against, because it would increase expenditure. It would increase mouths to feed.
Yes.
If you were to come across the election victory line as the winners of government, and so there's one whole heap of considerations that goes along with that makes it less viable and less realistic that would happen, right? And then you and the caller were talking about weeding out bad apples. The problem that the PLP would have with that, and you know, Howard, I really thought about doing your break if I should call in and say anything, because I'm sick of giving these people vision, ideas, brilliance, and then they use you and abuse you. You understand what I'm saying, you Howard?
I know.
And so sometimes I just enjoy sitting back and watching them make a blunder of things because they think that they have the answers and they don't. Right? Howard, look, that would create such a pickle because you have people, see, this election coming up, Howard, is such a sensitive one for the Progressive Liberal Party because of the awakening in hearts and minds and because of the experiences that Bahamians are enduring and have been enduring over the last 10 years of elections. You hear what I'm saying, Howard? Dating back to Christie, because of the suffering Bahamians have been enduring, right? And the promises Bahamians have been enduring, which they are no longer going to endure in 2025 or 2026, whenever the election is called. So don't think no public relations campaign and no glitz and glam campaign can get you over on the winning column. That ain't gonna work. You need thinkers in the mind who can help you to reposition how you look and how people perceive you and the reality on the ground. You need thinkers in the room. You know, yes, some men and women can get you that. For those scumbags who fall into that category. You understand what I'm saying, Howard? The PLP has an opportunity and the window, as I continue to say. I've been saying it over the last 3 years, privately. Publicly, I've been saying it over the last year. The window is, that dawn is steady on the PLP. The Prime Minister is going to have to make the serious changes now. If he waits until the campaign trail, forget about re-election. Forget about it. People will see it as an election ploy, an election stunt, a slap in the face. That you try to do a roundabout turn at the 11th and a half hour when you had all the time on the clock to get things done for and on behalf of the Bahamian people and make the hard decisions and make the necessary changes. If he fails to execute, you understand what I'm saying, you Howard? Prime Minister is going to have to get on the ball and make the necessary decisions to stop the suffering. It ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it, as my father used to say, my late father, God rest his soul. No ifs, ands, and buts. And you know what, you said something that took me back to my dad's generation a few moments back, where you started to analyze and discuss how politicians normally have a problem with you dissecting them, right? Howard, I could tell you some stories right up to where persons like my father, leading the charge, would have told leadership in private meetings, shut your mouth up in here. You don't run no show around here. We don't have that generation around no more, Howard. We have yes some men and yes some women who will fall to their knees. No backbone. No knee. All they know how to do is bend over. You understand what I'm saying to you, Howard? And so because of that thinking, that mindset, those kinds of weak scumbags, Howard, some politicians feel like they can just run over you roughshod until they run into the right set of people. You understand what I'm saying to you, Howard? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying to me. I'm listening to you very good.
The power belongs to the people, not the politicians. The people, Howard, but the people have to recognize that. The people have to embrace their power. The people have to stop being just lame duck followers and recognize that they have a voice and use the voice. Don't just cower like cowards or weaklings. You understand what I'm saying to you, Howard?
I understand
exactly. You, Howard, do you understand
no.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, I'm right here with you. I'm listening to you and I'm looking at this
frankly,
stuff. I want to talk about some stuff about this concept and idea that the first caller talked about being able to split hairs. Now, the only time that we've seen an expansion in the number of seats is when the PLP was in. From 2002, when we got into 2007, the PLP had added 2 seats, right? You remember that? The FNM took those seats back. We got down to 40. The PLP continued to be able to go this back and forward until we saw Ingram.
Until we get to this Gussie Mae situation that
right.
we experienced today.
Now, Ingram and Christie, this is sort of a conversation that, socially that we've had. Ingram and Kishri got together. They identify these particular constituencies. They cut it accordingly. They've expanded some. They've folded some into another. Then we got 39 seats. So we don't know whether or not. Now I'm hearing persons talk about the possibility that there will be an 8 Mile Rock seat, and then, a West Grand Bahama seat, and then a Bimini seat to go with the Bimini and the Berry Islands. Now that may make sense because the numbers have increased since Bimini Bay. So persons have moved to Bimini.
Right.
But when you look at it, the PLP's ploy is to be able to create a space. Now, if they do that, let's just say hypothetically, if the PLP does that, all the
I want to
seats,
interject upon that point.
all the seats will belong to Grand Bahama. Okay? And then the PLP can pick up one seat in Bimini, but you can't trust that because you have changed the dynamics from the traditional PLP folk in Bimini when you incorporated different people from different islands.
Right.
And we've seen that. You understand?
And there's also the problem. There's also the problem not only of the gerrymandering, Howard, which is not a good political practice. It's a selfish political practice, but not a good political practice.
This is what the PLP's
also
done.
The problem of, pardon me?
This is what the PLP has done. We've seen this. If you could see the transition over the years, over the past 20 years, this is what they've done.
This is something that Ingram did. There's also the expansion of the cabinet and the minimizing of the backbench.
Yes.
That's something that Hubert Ingram introduced to politics in this country.
And you know it's peculiar, and he comes out now and starts to talk about the necessity for being able to identify and put more persons in because it's hard to get all these fellas jobs when he was on the campaign trail, right? It's peculiar how time is a teller of all things. And then we look at these things and we realize that y'all have been operating in such a way that it's become the norm. This has become the culture of how things are.
Not only that, you're missing some words in there, Howard. They've been operating in such a selfish way that has become the norm to the detriment of Bahamians in our country, to the detriment of opportunities in our country, to the detriment of growth in our company, to the detriment of a new wave or a new generation of wealth creation in our country, to the detriment of many other things that we could go on and discuss for the rest of your show. Howard. But they
the lines lit right up,
these things.
Anton. The lines lit right up. Everybody was joining the conversation.
They only let me end right here, Howard. They only recognize these things in hindsight. That is what I seek to help the Prime Minister to stay focused on, to shut out the yes men and women around him, recognize what he needs to do. Otherwise, he will go down in a bad way and be remembered in a bad way because he had the power. They would be seeing as he had the power. He didn't do nothing with it, and now he's coming back with a bag of promises. That won't sit well in the spirits of the Bahamian people. PM, you still have the opportunity. This is your chance. This is your time. Do what you got to do, sir. God bless you. Thank you, Howard.
Thank you, my brother. I do appreciate you. And this is the kind of conversation that I want to have. I just want to be very honest with you because there are a lot of activists that exist and that have gone on to glory that I've had an opportunity to be able to meet over the past 10 years. There are a lot of activists, right? I care not to speak about who is who because there is activism on this radio that is live and it can be able to hit your ears and get in your cars and your spaces that you can be able to hear on a day-to-day basis. But when the mic cuts off and I'm looking for the activism, I'm looking for consistency, I'm looking for these particular things, these men continue to cower 70, 80, almost 90 years old. They cower in these particular spaces afraid of a boogeyman that died 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Jesus, God Almighty. But the culture in their mind and how they grew, they are not supposed to put their stamp, their assessment on one person or another. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. There are men that sit in these particular spaces that say, well, I'm looking for an opportunity to run. Sir, we are also looking for an oxygen tank for you. Not in a bad way. We're also looking to find the tennis balls to ensure that you don't scrape the ground with your thing. You are getting older and you're still looking for where youth should be. Never one time in your mind you decided that it's time for transition. That's the problem that we have. You all are not teaching the next generation. You're still hungry for an opportunity and you're boxing everybody out. Like you in the pink. Come on, man. We can't grow this country off of ideals and ideas of men who don't want to grow with the times. Let's have a good conversation. Quick break, be right back. I see the lines lit up right after this.
The Foundation with Howard Grant. We'll be back right after this.
Honey barbecue, sweet and spicy, all new.
Signature hot wings.
What's your flavor?
Roasted garlic parmesan, tastes so good, chicken.
Ghost pepper
Wings. Popeyes.
Now available at Popeyes in Nassau.
Popeyes.
It's time to upgrade the way you enjoy at-home entertainment. Alive Fiber is here. Enjoy all your favorite channels and streaming apps, all at lightning-fast internet speeds with affordable bundles, and it's only a click away. Visit www.alivefiber.com to sign up now. Stay connected, live your life. It's good to be alive.
The Grand Bahama News is available every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian. You can buy your local paper at Freeport Convenience Stores, Western Bakery, De Gregory's Fine Foods, and Bellevue Gifts. Now is the time to reach your Grand Bahama market with affordable packages, including print and digital. Call GB News Sales Representative Kavandre at 822-6717 or message him on WhatsApp for ad rates. Classified ads are now available every Tuesday as well. Keep up with everything Grand Bahamian every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, right to the lines. Give me a call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-425-9. Anywhere for the family of violence, 242-300-5720. Hit me up, 422-4796. I think we're going to have a good time over the next month. Call on the line with us live. Go ahead.
Howard Grant.
Hey, my brother, what's happening?
Ron, this is me. I had to ring back. Listen to me. Anton said something about his late father and the way his dad used to carry on in the meetings.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't invite them type of people to the meetings no more. They invite the yes sir and no sir people to the meeting now.
The whole party set up with
They
that.
know what Raggy them in the meeting. They ain't gonna invite them to the meeting. You can hear about the meeting the next day when the meeting over.
The whole party set up like that. Both parties. That's what they set up for.
Yes. Now, another thing too. You have to be careful when you go around Porter-Ski Dock and you asking them niggas, them fellas, sorry, if they like man. Because you might get the shock of your life one day.
But I wasn't looking for that.
Yeah, but the nigga might say, yeah. That's why he's looking at you. And then thirdly, I had a good-sized friend of mine say the fella say, man, he doing bad. If he have any clothes, any old clothes that he could give him, the fella say, man, you can't be doing bad. I weigh 300 and something pounds. If you could fit in his clothes, anywhere in the world you could be hungry. Not no 300 something pound clothes. You can't be hungry. You need a job. Or you need to go exercise.
That's the truth.
But back to what I was saying. I hear you and Anton was saying something about West End being cut. And Bimini.
That's what
you think would be a better cut for the PLP right now? The cut West End and Bimini or the cut Michael?
West End and Bimini.
You think so?
Yeah. Okay, let me tell you why. I have to assess it.
They win the two.
I have to assess it.
They might win nothing.
No, but they can't do that. They wouldn't do that because almost like a gentleman's agreement to understand that we have to keep the constituencies at a particular position. Okay? But what they can do is identify another constituency. Now, the numbers, and I got to let you go because the line's lit right up. The numbers have increased significantly you've seen that with the by-election. You've seen the numbers that have increased in West End and Bimini. You've seen the dynamics that exist in West End, in West Grand Bahama, right? Let's do this. You're going all the way from almost Pindus Point area, Mid-8 Maroc, all the way to Bimini. You understand? You've increased numbers significantly in Bimini where people are coming in for jobs, they're settling in, they're making Bimini homes, so forth and so on. The dynamics have shifted. This is not in the PLP's favor. This is not in the PLP. Anytime you have a diverse population, it is not in the PLP's favor. The PLP's favor is always a traditional space. That's why they could find their strength in West End proper. But they're diverse in their approach, and they gotta bite their nails as to see what Bimini is going to do. So the best cut that I believe that you should do is cut for Bimini and Berry Islands. Then you could possibly win a seat there. But if you cut West End and you add that to 8 Mile Rock, the F&M could get that. And you know that. You know that. Because the numbers in 8 Mile Rock are bigger than the numbers in West End. And so those polling divisions in West End will be diminished in comparison to when you come out of Holmes Rock and when you find yourself out of Seagrape in Jonestown, so forth and so on, then the numbers for the F&M increases. That's what happens from a traditional standpoint. You understand? If you cut Michael, the F&M will have a hard time trying to find a candidate with the finances and the enthusiasm and a homegrown flair to be able to jump from island to island to make those things happen. You understand? So let me take the next telephone call. Caller, go ahead.
Hey, Howard.
Hey, my dear, what's up?
Radio. Listen, I love the way Anton speaks as of late.
Praise God.
You understand? Anton saw what most of us have been seeing for a minute. The gentleman, however, before Anton, that seemed to think there's supposed to be this for lack of a better word, clean sweep. I don't know which country he lives in. He doesn't live where Anton lives, and he definitely don't live where I live. Because it's impossible to not see that there is a problem. The anxiety in this country today, from the BC mortgage, because you can't call it a bill anymore, from the BC mortgage to the food store mortgage, and now to the gas mortgage. Where is the relief for the people that you promised? So in my view, right now, Prime Minister Davis, with his persons, is sitting right almost exactly where Minutes sat before the last general election. Many persons in the Minutes cabinet lost their seats, not due to what they did not do, you know. Look at me, Minister Vaughan Miller. Persons in that area said, they don't like Vaughan Miller because he's a do-nothing person, but they would rather vote for him than to see Minutes get back in. So good persons lost their seats because of what the Prime Minister at the head was not or was doing. So that gentleman who seemed to think that it's a two straight, this ain't Junkanoo on Bay Street. We ain't standing in waves like the penguins of Madagascar and dancing like King Julian. That ain't happening. We are wiser and smarter. And like Anton said, don't bring it to our plate just before election, because we are going to see it as a ploy. And as one, you try to pull over our eyes. You're never home. You don't take care of us. You touting climate change around the world, and you don't stick with us. And like the ladies were saying, we could watch. I don't want to watch no replay. I'm just as important as the persons you go there to, so you come to me too. You understand me? I don't want no replay of your speech. Come to us. You don't have to bring us their speech. Give us one that suits us. Tailor the speech to Bohemians so we can understand it. Let me hear some and some them and some us and some we.
We didn't route the Prime Minister for this, We didn't route the Prime Minister to say that you don't have to be able to speak, to dumb down what you're saying.
No.
To when you're presenting to the Bahamian people. The Prime Minister presents a polished speech internationally. He is extremely impressive when he goes out internationally. But locally, the ebonics, the breaking up, the inconsistencies, the lack of commitment, the lack of focus when he's talking to the Bahamian people, his wishy-washy approach to being able to ensure that he could always encompass everyone and take care of everyone is something that we can't deal with no more. He got to be able to be strong.
We're fed up. We are fed up. You understand me? And to the good gentleman that spoke before, Anton, he forget how the armed police with big guns goes in the person's business saying they collecting VAT or collecting tax. How the tax hikes are now draining our pockets.
They didn't tell me all the story, but
I'm trying to figure out what I buy. All I buy is a little bit of food.
They didn't tell me all about the story, but the quasi-government that exists for that. Praise God. We can talk about that one of these days. I appreciate
so all of these things will come into play when that ink, when that purple ink sits on my finger.
Wow. I appreciate the telephone call, my dear. Thank you so much. But that has to do with an educated electorate. Let's just shoot straight. That has to do with an electorate who is concerned, aligned, informed, and is willing and sober enough to make a decision to change. That's it. But the PLP and the FNM, no one's counting on that from a political standpoint. No one's hoping for sobriety. Everyone's hoping that they lull you to sleep with the nostalgic scent of a PLP campaign, of an FNM campaign, and you're content with that. You're content with the smell, and you lack the understanding that there's no nourishment here in this food that they're feeding you. You only remember the scent. I remember that scent. My God, I remember years ago when we used to hit that pom-pom. Oh my God, I remember the campaign. I used to have so much fun, me and my girls, when we riding all night. I remember that. You remember the nostalgic scent of a campaign. But this is not the same thing. This campaign different. They ain't even feeding y'all. You got nothing to go home to. My God, you got 5 children. When you started this off and that nostalgic scent, you didn't have no responsibilities. Now you got 5 children. And you're going out partying all night, drinking all night, and you can't bring nothing back to these children. You did that for 5 years. What you can do? My God, you got to wake up. You got to wake up. Their approach to campaigning must change. And that can't happen if you still revel in the nostalgic scent and concept of what politics was yesterday without opening your eyes to see that this is not feeding our nation. You got to wake up. Caller, go on the line. Go ahead.
Hey, what's happening, Howard?
Everything good, man. What's happening with you?
Everything good, man. I think what your callers or your PRP supporters fail to realize that the Prime Minister had 3 years, 3 years to do something on behalf of the Bahamian people. In that 3 years, all the Prime Minister did was taxes, our taxes, our taxes, our taxes. The name on the street, you know what they call the Prime Minister on the street?
What's that?
The flying tax man. Every other week, the Prime Minister someplace around the world giving speeches. Every other week, the Prime Minister talking about climate change. What have you done to affect climate or the environment in the Bahamas? What have you done to alleviate some of the stress of the poor people in the Bahamas? BEC, BPR, sorry. Now they're going to charge people for water. They're going to charge people for having a pump in their backyard. You think that ain't going to happen?
The Prime Minister said that ain't going to happen. The Prime Minister says that's not going to happen.
Well, what do you say about the NIB?
Well, we waiting to hear. The jury's still out on that to find out our position on that.
Okay then. So the Prime Minister, you had 3 years to help us. Anything with the Prime, see what people don't realize. In the Bahamas, you vote for PLP or you vote FNL. Take a sense, Jesus Christ and Pinewood. If you see the Bahamian people get upset with the PLP, they will vote against Jesus Christ.
That's heavy what you're saying.
They don't care who they send. They voting against the PLP. That's all they see. They voting against the PLP. So I don't care how good these people is. You see, once a wave come, look at the Perry crew. Perry had some very good MPs in his administration. Go on. Look at Menace crew. He has some very good MPs. Go on. Once you see the wave come, the Bahamian people, they will vote you out.
Wow.
They will vote you out. The last Prime Minister that get voted in was Hubert Ingram. That was the last Prime Minister that get voted in. And this wave coming again, and this crew going.
Technically.
You know, and look at West End. Look at West End. You came to West End, you promised the people of West End, you promised them the moon. How would your family live in West End and 8 Mile Rock? Ask them what happened in West End yet. As simple as the school ain't open yet. Simple as the administration building. You got 1 or 2 offices open in the building, and they got drop cord to keep the power up the office. So, what you do for the Bahamian people? Tell us what you do. Show us what you do. Not tell us, show us. We ain't want to see the mileage. We ain't want to see the taxes. We all can feel the taxes. We can see it, feel it when we go to the food store. We can feel it when we go to the gas station. We can feel it in the power bill. Help us.
Wow.
So the flying tax man, he better enjoy these last 2 years of flying.
I appreciate you calling me, brother. Thank you so very kindly for that. Guys, give me a call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, anywhere for the family of islands, 242-300-5720. Hit me up, 422-4796. We got to shoot straight with these conversations. We got to be able to have an honest, very clear conversation, and I think a lot of us have learned the nature of how the PLP approaches campaigns, and we use the same language. Okay, so you like to be able to put a label on them so you can remember the label. I watch people do this. I just watch you all. I just listen to you and I just watch you, right? I've always done that, right? And I watch your assessment of these particular people, and you try to be able to amalgamate it into one word. I think it's unfair to call the Prime Minister a flying tax man. I really do. I really do. I just want to be honest as we identify and dissect. That's it. We got to identify, we got to be transparent, and we got to be able to dissect accordingly. We got to be able to do this. The Prime Minister has a great deal to answer about. And like Anton and others has been able to indicate, if they get rid of, my first caller, if they get rid of the prickles, and I don't know if is it that easy. Based upon the campaign that I'm seeing, based upon the numbers that we've called and identified, it could be that the PLP is hoping that these lousy MPs fall by the wayside. But if they don't show themselves strong, they're going to lose more than the potential 11 that we've identified that's non-performing. You're going to lose more than that. And if the FNM is holding out with this sort of an idea that the PLP is not performing and they're going to slip in, you're going to lose more than the idea of being able to get into the next general election. The seats that we've identified to be yours, you could lose them also. Everybody got to get to work. Quick break, be right back after this.
Foundation.
The Foundation will be back right after this.
The foundation. The foundation.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Bonneville Bones, established in 1970, is the leader in men's fashion in the Bahamas. We're conveniently located in the Mall at Marathon and the Harbor Bay Shopping Plaza, and fully stocked with everything you need for all occasions. Our Harbor Bay location is one door north of Alive, with the black and white signage of Bonneville Boutique. Both locations are open from 10 to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Bonneville Bones and Bonneville Boutique, still the leader in men's fashion. Located in the Mall at Marathon and the Harbor Bay Shopping Plaza.
Great news! Ron's Electric Motors' new location on Cowpen Road, right next to Island Luck, is open Saturdays and Sundays. So for those needing repairs on electric motors, generators, welding machines, water pumps, battery chargers, electric lifts, transformers, and power tools, Ron's Cowpen Road location can have you up and running on weekends. Don't forget, you can still visit Ron's Electric Motors on Wolf Road and Claridge Road, and now Ron's new location on Cowpen Road. Dial 356-0249 or 323-5267.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
It's going to be tight, but it's going to be right. Let's go make this thing happen, ladies and gentlemen. The foundation right here at 96.9 FM radio, Howard Grant and your company, just being able to dissect and just identify these things in preparation for our series tomorrow. Tomorrow we got, we're going to be identifying, you got to be able to identify that I ain't talking about these people's name. I just want to be decent with you. I have information that goes all the way back from 1992. I got it right here. You can look at it, GuardianTalkRadio.com. You can be able to see me. I got all the information from 1992. How many persons voted for Bahamas Constituency Party? How many persons voted for Bahamas Democratic Movement? How many persons voted for the Coalition of Labor? Coalition Labor, right? How many persons voted for the FNM, the Independents, the PLP, our survivors, and so forth and so on? I got all this information. I didn't do this. From 2002, 129,201 persons voted. All this information. 44,758 people registered. That was a 90.1% turnout. This is in 2002. I got all the information. I don't want you to think I hear talking about people. Oh God, I don't have the time to do that. I don't have the time to do that. If we're dissecting leadership and taking it from a constituency first approach, what we're going to do tomorrow is talk about the constituencies, what should happen, and provide a SWOT analysis for the constituency. The strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats for the leadership that sits at the helm in the constituency. Tomorrow we're talking Mount Moriah and we are talking Southern Shores. Don't call me and tell me nothing but no personal business if it doesn't correlate with what's happening in the constituency. That's it. If the member of parliament is not performing, let's have that kind of a conversation. But please bring me data, Howard. This is what needs to happen. The potholes, the this, the that, the community, the outreach, touching the children, boom, 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 technology, being able to see these things. We haven't seen this kind of an agitation, blah, blah, blah. Let's deal with that accordingly. Don't tell me, oh, I never like this man. I can't help you there. I can't help you. Quick call. Let me take a telephone call. Call on the line, go ahead. Call on the line, go ahead. Next call. Call on the line. Go ahead. 323-623-2325, 431-632-54259. Anywhere from the Family Violence, 242-300-5720. Hit me up, 422-4796. Let me see if I can read a couple of these texts before we get it. It says, Howard, you need to pay attention to MP for East Grand Bahama, Kwesi Thompson, who haven't stopped working yet. Every weekend, he along with his team is on the road or knocking on people's doors, having personal and meaningful conversations with constituents. He's helping FNMs, known PLPs, independents, young and old in his constituency. Plus, he's side by side with the leader in his fight to rid the Bahamian people of the den of misfits. See, I tell you all, y'all like to put y'all like that. The den of misfits. Like y'all creating a name for a movie, The Den of Misfits, coming in May 2026. The Den of Misfits. You need to stop. It's a text is coming through. Let's see if we can read another one, right? So it says, Howard, have you heard Dr. Minnis will declare the leadership of the DNA in the House this week? Seems like Brian McCartney is back too. This is I have not heard that. I just read your text. I have not heard that, and I care not to mention that because I feel like that's a... Anyway, let's go on to the next one. Anyway, best thing I've heard, Anton said. There's a text that's coming through. What he called the fellas scoundrels. He says, it says, a better cut for the PLP right now is the cut behind. He didn't say behind, cut behind, that they will get at the next election, because we know that they are going to an early election. All the signs point to it, right? It wouldn't be in the PLP's favor to go to an early election, not now, okay? So the PLP is already on a trajectory. They are already on a path. The FNM has to prove to you the burden of guilt. The burden of proof lies within the FNM, not the PLP. You've already shown that you're content with this. you're showing your discomfort, but it's only a small section. Like the Prime Minister's indicated that there isn't enough social agitation for us to make a change. That's all he's saying. That's all he's saying. There isn't enough social pushback, despite the promises that we've made to the people of the Bahamas. There isn't enough social pushback for us to be able to even consider going off rail from this path. Not the path that we say we was going on, from the path that we're on. That's what he said. That is, in so many words, the Prime Minister is saying, you haven't agitated enough for us to be able to look with transparency, integrity, and accountability to our blueprint for change. So we are going to settle in and nestle in with what we have done. And if nobody said anything about that, we are willing to take this risk. That's what he's saying. You ain't saying nothing about campaign finance reform. You ain't saying nothing about the freedom of information. You ain't saying nothing about the ombudsman, the integrity. You ain't saying nothing about these things. You only keep asking for your contract. You only keep asking where you can get this government job. Are you tired of being a security officer? That's all you can ask them about. But they haven't translated that to say that the people are hungry. Hurry up before we gotta get out of here. Tell Sparky to call in and talk about himself again. Y'all need to stop. Let me take the next telephone call. Caller, go on ahead. Caller, you on the line with us live. Go ahead. No? Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Howard. Good afternoon.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Jeff?
Right here, my brother. Sat here listening to your entire program from start to this point. And we have to acknowledge, regardless to whether the person's calling in is pro or against this current administration, their voices deserve to be heard.
Yes.
Their voices deserve to be respected.
Yes.
Because I'm going to tell you, the voices out here gives you a barometer of what people think has been going on for quite some time. Now, you just now mentioned a few of the things that Bahamians have been talking about for quite some time that they would like to see enacted. The Ombudsman is one of them. The Freedom of Information Act is another one of them. Yes, it's partially enacted, but there's no teeth to it. The two-term prime minister, that was something that was heavy on the campaign trail, even under the DNA's watch. Mm-hmm. That has not been enacted.
Now, Jeff, I can be honest with you, I cannot remember the PLP ever saying that they're going to enact 2 terms for prime ministers.
Well, I agree with you with that. But this is what I'm saying now. These are the things that Bahamians are talking about. But the current administration, I'm not even going to focus at the FNM, because let me tell you something. The FNM is out. This current administration has promised so many things. Right now, the burden of just trying to survive in this country is heavy. Did you hear some of the comments that some of the callers talked about? Mm-hmm. This flying up and down all over the place. They feel no prosperity on the ground. There's no burden, no relief down here. There's no mention about even tax rebates. There's nothing tangible down here for the average Bahamian to sink their teeth into, okay? And I'm going to tell you, Bahamians are very frustrated and they're disgruntled. Now, you'll hear some of the pundits talk about, well, they're disgruntled because their government isn't in. We need to get past all of that, Howard. We need to look at this country and decide that, listen, we have to bring this country to a stable environment where people beginning to live comfortably in this country. There's no comfort here. And I'm being very succinct. You talk about the D average and you talk about the brain drain. Why would our kids want to come back here to this country when it seems as if, unless it's a political favor or you have a flavor with the current political party that's in, that's when you get favor? No, it should be a meritocracy where people survive in this country, be paid what they're supposed to be paid, and return the middle class to a strong position where we can begin to move this country. But, Howard, it is so many things that can be mentioned here, but we'll mention them until the cows come home. If the current administration and the next administration, whether it be them again or another party that comes in, if we do not begin to progress this country in a manner that we all could begin to live comfortably here for how many years the Lord has us still on this earth, and all of this talk right now doesn't make any sense. Wow. But thank you for taking my call. Okay?
Thank you, my brother. I do appreciate your telephone call. Let me see if I can read 2 of these texts before we get out of here. You didn't cut the music on for me? My God. It says, good day. The Bahamian getting what they deserve. We are too political in this small country. We don't look at issues, only our selfish pockets. It's time that we evaluate the standard of political leaders and hold them accountable. This is the text coming through. This is how can you fly across the world to talk about climate change while you let developers destroy Atoll Island and Bimini, etc. This is a text coming through. Howard, I agree. Don't call him the flying tax man. The right name is called the tax flying man. Jesus God Almighty, y'all. Indecency, you are cloaked in it. My God, saran wrapped and airtight in your indecency. All of the indecent flavors have permeated your cells, and that is what's spewing out now. Let us be decent as we continue to be able to move through here. Tomorrow the series starts, guys. Please go take the poll. The